AITAH for breaking up with and kicking my girlfriend out because she went to an after party without me? After a party at my girlfriend's coworker's, Joe, place, we ended things. I felt like an outsider the whole time, especially when Joe jokingly told me that only Ann was invited to his after party and she agreed to go without me. The next morning, she came home in Joe's car and ignored my concerns. I, 24M, and my girlfriend, 23F Ann, began dating in college. Last week, Ann invited me to her coworker's, Joe, party. I had heard a lot about him in the past, and he and she really seemed to have a lot in common, especially with their taste in music. Apparently, he was an amateur musician with a fairly successful YouTube channel. Joe initially invited only Ann, but when she asked him if I could tag along, he said it was fine. The party was on Saturday evening. It was a fun party with about 30 people, held at a restaurant Joe had rented out. Towards the end, though, I wandered into Ann's little discussion group, and I immediately got the feeling that nobody really wanted me there. Most of all, Ann. It was her, Joe, and a few other people. Thinking that I was just imagining things, I hung around and listened to Joe basically boast about himself the whole time. A little while later, I wandered off to get myself a drink and chat with a few other people. Eventually, the time to leave came around, and I went to find Ann again. Joe approached me at that point and said that he was having an after party over at his house. I was going to refuse, but then he said, "Sorry, man, but only Ann is invited," while clapping me on the shoulder. I first told him not to touch me, and then said she's not going. He informed me that she had already accepted the invitation. I texted Ann immediately to ask where she was. She responded, "Sorry, on the way to Joe's place. I'll see you tomorrow. Love you." I asked if she knew I wasn't invited, and she then left me on read. Texts after that were all ignored. I drove home furious. I stayed up all night, and finally Ann walked in the door at 5:42 a.m. I know, because I was by the window watching. I recognized the car as Joe's and the driver as Joe. Nobody else was in the car. Ann waved to him cutely and laughed at something he said. Ann came inside and acted surprised to see me still up. At that point, I flatly told her that we were done and she had the rest of the day to move out. Ann was at first confused with me, and then I told her that she can just move in with Joe. She rolled her eyes and said nothing happened. She gave me this spiel about my insecurities and imagination. I said it didn't matter. After this back and forward arguing, Ann finally relented and sarcastically thanked me for wasting the best years of her life. Ann finally moved out yesterday, and it was pretty dramatic. She said that she loved me and that I was throwing away everything over a party. Did I do her wrong here? I feel like I'm getting gaslighted. Relevant comments. Commenter: she left you at a party she invited you to, went to another party without communicating with you, and ghosted you when you messaged her? I am sorry, but she doesn't care or respect you. At least you are no priority, and her colleague seems to be more important. I would never leave my partner I came with to a party stranded at a party and then gaslight him for being angry. Seems you're her safety person, the one who should wait for her and take care of her. And that's it, NTA. Commenter: I wouldn't do this to a regular friend neither, let alone a partner with whom you're supposed to be ride or die. Commenter: even if she didn't sleep with him, she left you at a party without saying goodbye and went to a party she knew you weren't invited to, doesn't respond to your text, doesn't tell you what's going on, and then tries to downplay your valid feelings. She has no respect for you. You absolutely made the right decision. You deserve better than that. Commenter: if you love someone, you don't leave them behind and go to an after party with another guy. You did the right thing. I'm sorry, I know it hurts, but you will meet someone better. Eventually, I pry it out, and she's been giving her family a third of her money every month, if not more, when they have an emergency. Her brother and his family stay with her parents. Alarm bells started ringing in my head. One time, she only had like $75 to her name, asked why, and she said that was it after monthly bills. We weren't close enough for me to ask for details back then. I let her finish talking before saying a flat no. I said she needed to go to them and get money for rent. That's when we began our first loud and heated argument. I told her just because she was a doormat doesn't mean I was going to become one. I've made and kept my own money since I was 15. I can't wrap my head around paying for 4 other people that can get a fucking job. She told me every detail about their hard times before asking if I really wasn't going to help her. I chuckled and asked her if she bought the concert tickets for my birthday she promised next month. She stormed out and then texted me later saying she thought I loved her and she couldn't believe I called her a doormat. I was thinking of breaking it off last night, but now I feel like maybe she's right, and I'm not being understanding. Was I wrong for calling her a doormat? Update. Here's just one text from her. B for you don't help me with nothing. I pay my own bills and I put just as much into the relationship as you. You spend more on dates, but I never asked to go indoor skydiving, and you loved hiking. They are my family and his car broke down. You gave your mom $1,000 to move. It's the same thing. I love you and you love me. This was unexpected and won't happen again. I'm going to get a late fee starting tomorrow, babe. I'm done. I think the majority of people were right. She's definitely got some type of situation with her family. Her brother could have taken the bus or got a ride to work from her instead. I'm just not the guy for her. I can't deal with this long term. I've asked to meet and I've stopped texting her back. I packed her stuff and will bring it to Steak and Shake. I don't need anything that I've left at her place. Relevant comments. Commenter: NTA, you've been dating 7 months. She's being used by a doormat by her family, and in all honesty, I would say you've been used as a doormat by her if there's only a 10K pay difference, but you've spent thousands of dollars on her. OP, I don't mind spending on women I date. In the past, it's never been this bad, though. I've been able to trust they will pay for stuff if I asked. Commenter, there's roughly the same income difference between me and my partner, and whilst he pays more often than me, I do still treat him to nice dinners, takeaways, and little treats. Anyone decent would feel bad at you paying for absolutely everything, and would at least offer from time to time. Commenter, hey listen, I'm saying this as a woman who's a little older. Find someone who is financially literate and takes responsibility for herself. Finances can make or break a relationship, and I think that carries over into other parts of the relationship. Thank you for sticking around until the end. If you liked our videos, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to keep up with our latest content. Have a wonderful day. Story 2. AITAH for asking my husband if I can cheat on him after finding out he cheated on me. I, 32F, recently became a mom to a beautiful 3-month-old baby girl. I live in a big Indian joint family, and I feel really blessed with how much love and support I've received from my in-laws. My husband, 32M, my in-laws, 2 brothers-in-law, BILs, 3 sisters-in-law, SILs, and a few teenage nieces all live under the same roof, and my in-laws truly treat me like their daughter. My husband and I have been married for a few years, and I honestly thought we were solid. The trouble started during one of our family's regular dress-up nights, a fun little tradition we have where everyone in the family dresses up and spends the evening together, laughing, taking pictures, and just enjoying each other's company. I especially love these nights because of my nieces. They're teenagers, and it's always a blast seeing how excited they get about picking out outfits and having fun. However, during this particular dress-up night, my mother-in-law pulled me aside. She seemed a little uncomfortable, but told me there was something I needed to see. She showed me some WhatsApp messages that my husband had mistakenly sent to her instead of another woman. He had sent them thinking they were going to this woman, and they were clearly romantic and suggestive. From the way the messages were worded, it was obvious he had been having an affair with her. My mill said he probably deleted the messages for him, instead of for everyone, and didn't notice. When I confronted my husband, he didn't deny it. In fact, he admitted that he had been cheating on me. What hurt me the most was how he tried to justify it. He said that men have needs, and because I was pregnant and then recovering after childbirth, he wasn't getting what he needed from me. He claimed that it was just physical and meant nothing. It felt like he was brushing off my feelings as if what he did was no big deal, just because it wasn't emotional for him. But it was a huge deal for me. I was shattered. Here I was, still recovering from childbirth, physically and emotionally exhausted from taking care of our newborn, and he was running around behind my back. I was angry and hurt beyond words, and in the heat of the moment I lashed out. I asked him, if it's just physical, should I go find someone else too? I wanted him to understand how it felt to be on the receiving end of betrayal. He got furious. He stormed out, claiming I was being disrespectful and that I went too far by suggesting I could cheat on him in return. Now, here's where things get complicated. My in-laws are all on my side. They are furious with my husband for what he's done, and they've made it clear they don't support his behavior. They've been incredibly supportive of me and our baby, which I deeply appreciate. They are even on my side if I decide to divorce him. However, when I talked to my own mother about this, she told me I took things too far by saying I'd cheat on him. She said I should have handled it differently, without stooping to his level. But that wasn't the only thing she told me. Apparently, my mom had known about the affair for a while. She had seen my husband with this other woman at some point, but didn't tell me because she didn't want her granddaughter to grow up without a father. I'm devastated. Not only did my husband cheat, but my own mother kept it from me. I understand she had her reasons, but I feel completely betrayed by the people closest to me. Now, my husband is upset, claiming that my comment about cheating on him was out of line, even though it was made in the heat of the moment, fueled by his betrayal. My mom also seems to think I went too far, even though she knew about his affair and chose to stay silent. So here I am, trying to make sense of everything. My in-laws are on my side, my husband is mad at me, and my mom thinks I should have kept my cool. AITAH for asking if I could cheat on my husband after finding out he cheated on me? Should I have handled this differently? Note, I never want to cheat. It was just to make him understand how crazy he sounded. Update. Hey everyone, it's currently 3:35 a.m. and I can't sleep. I'm lying here in my in-laws' house and the only ones who seem to be sleeping are the kids. I just needed to share what's been happening since my last post. First of all, thank you for all the supportive comments. They've really helped me feel less alone in this mess. So, after I posted my original message at 1 a.m., I couldn't shake the feeling of guilt that was swirling inside me. My mother keeps insisting that my husband's cheating was a one-time mistake, and I should just stay for the sake of our daughter. But I know deep down that it's so much more complicated than that. Finding out about the affair was a blow I never saw coming, especially during our family dress-up night, when my mother-in-law pulled me aside to tell me. Since then, my in-laws have kicked my husband out of the house, and they've been incredibly supportive. They really treat me like family, which is a relief because my own dad was more of a ghost in my life than an actual father. It's hard to explain how grateful I am for their support during this chaotic time. They've stepped in and made it clear that they're on my side, which has been comforting. But I can't shake the feeling that I need to figure out who his affair partner is. I have this nagging suspicion that it might be my best friend, Tara, as I saw him use that name in some of the texts he accidentally sent my mother-in-law. The thought makes me sick. I don't want to believe it, but it's hard to ignore. In the morning, I plan to have a serious talk with my husband, but I also need to talk to a lawyer about divorce and custody. I've worked hard to build my own career and finances, so I know I can support myself and my daughter, but it's still scary to think about what the future holds. I'm trying to remind myself that I deserve better than this. My mother's voice has been echoing in my head, urging me to think about my daughter, but I need to prioritize my own happiness too. Staying in a relationship built on lies and betrayal isn't healthy for any of us. I want my daughter to grow up in a loving environment, not one where her parents are constantly at odds. I also need to confront my mother about the fact that she knew about my husband's cheating and didn't tell me. She claims she didn't want my daughter to grow up without a father, but I feel betrayed. I have to set boundaries and make it clear that I need her support, not just for my daughter's sake, but for my own sanity. For now, I'm staying with my in-laws, who have really embraced me during this time. It feels nice to be part of a family that genuinely cares for me. I think it's important for my daughter to have a relationship with them, especially since my own father wasn't really a father figure in my life. Thank you for being here for me and for all your kind words. They mean more than you know. I'll keep you updated as things unfold, and I hope to find the strength to navigate the storm. Relevant comments. Commenter, NTA. Lawyer up. Don't let him know it's coming. You've got this, girl. You do deserve better. Think of your daughter. You're going to be teaching her not to tolerate disrespect. Break the cycle of unhealthy relationships. OP should not rush into forgiveness just because others think she should. Threaten to go no contact and that she will never see her granddaughter again with your mother if she doesn't tell you who it was if you think she knows. If that's your best friend you need to know, then once you got the facts, figure out who or how you want to proceed. No one is entitled to your love or family bonding who protected a cheater. Story 3. AITAH for calling my GF a doormat? I've been dating Pumpkin for 7 months. We're both late 20s and have good careers. I was upfront about dating to marry. From the beginning, I paid for everything. Every date and item she wanted. She told me she was paycheck to paycheck, and I didn't press it. Say I made $75K, and she makes $65K. We were living similar lifestyles, so I didn't see any alarms. She met my family during my sister's destination wedding in Europe this summer. Again, I paid for everything. The flight, her dress, the room, and expenses while there. She only bought souvenirs for herself and her family. After the trip, I looked at my finances and realized she needed to start pitching in because I was no longer growing my savings. I talked to her about this, and she started crying, saying we should go out less because she was helping her family a bit and paying off debts. I felt bad and let it go. The cycle continued. Fast forward to yesterday. She calls crying and asks to come over. As soon as she calms down on my lap, she asks for money to pay her rent. She's rambling fast, going on and on about how much more expensive things are. I stop her because at this point I need to know WTF is going on. I'm paying for literally everything, so where is her money going?